everyone, welcome to part 8 and the final part of our Fujimi 112 Nissan Skyline R32 GTR video build. So this is finally going to come to an end today. It's been a long time in the making. We're about 8 weeks in. We've got a few final steps to do, including several things I've been putting off, including the polishing the body, which is going to take forever, and modifying the exhaust, which wasn't actually as difficult as I thought. So glad to get this one off the bench. So let's jump straight in. Let's start polishing the body, and let's condense 6 hours of bodywear polishing into about 3 minutes. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the little bell notifications, get notified of all our latest videos. Click the like button and leave a comment. I do read and reply to all the comments and appreciate everybody that takes the time to leave a comment on the channel. And of course, if you scroll up in the description, there's a link to a big long list of all the items I use in my videos. So if you see anything, you should be able to find it in there. Right then, so like I said, straight into bodywork polishing. We've got some micro mesh. We're using 6,000, 8,000, 12,000 wet with some water. We're going to lightly sand all the body and flat it back, and then concentrate on areas where there is dust in the body. Now we've got quite a few dust spots on this due to the size of this thing and the amount of time it was out in the open while we were spraying it, because obviously it takes longer to spray a bigger body. We had a lot more dust land than normal. But what we're going to do, we're going to work through the various grits of micro mesh. Then we're going to use the ultimate polishing system, starting with the compound, as you can see here, and give it a nice buff up. Using our micro mesh cloths that come with it. We sell all this at umpretail.com. And we're going to buff back to remove all those light surface scratches caused by good micro mesh. So using the compound now, give that a good wipe in and buff off, and then we can come in with our polish, which is a slightly less abrasive compound, and give this a good polish up to a nice high shine. And we can repeat that as necessary with either all the micro mesh and the compound and polish, or just a compound and polish, or just a polish. You judge how much it needs doing and how far you want to push it. So sadly, we are left with a few flaws. The dust spots are very, very deep in the clear, and I wasn't prepared to push it as far as needed to go to either get rid of them or run the risk of having to completely re-clear. It cost me a lot of money to paint this body. I reckon about £60 in total for all the paint, and I really wasn't prepared to run that risk. So working around all the various body panels, the doors and everything, give them all a good flat with the micro mesh, then give them a more nice polish up with the compound and polish, and get them to a level you're happy with. And that's only something you can decide. Don't let others force you into it. Only push the polishing as much as you wish. So like I said, this took me about 6 hours in total. It was an absolute grueler of a polishing session. It really, really was. But it's time well spent because it does look good once it's done. I used about 25, 30 microfiber cloths here to do all this because I'm so careful about what the cloths have been used for, and I literally pick a new cloth up every 5 seconds or so to repolish, so I'm not picking anything up, grit or what have you. They can all be rewashed and reused. That's not a problem at all. And like I say, we just work our way around all the body. It does take a long time because it's such a big body to do, but it's the same process all the way around. 6,000, 8,000, 12,000 micro mesh to remove all those flaws. Once you're happy that you've got rid of most of the flaws and the dust spots and the imperfections, then come in with the compound, which is a more abrasive polish. And then when you've buffed all that off, come in with the polish and give it a good polish up to a nice high shine. Once we've completed the model, we'll give it a wax, and then we'll give it a shine polish as well, and get a nice gleaming bodywork. So be particularly careful on edges and corners and any protruding part as well, because they're the areas where the clear and the paint will be at its thinnest, and you do not want to burn through, because the time spent doing this is then wasted. So less is more, in my opinion. As you can see, the blue's starting to come out now really well. It's a beautiful colour. It's a tricky colour to show though. In normal lighting, it looks pretty dark, but once you get under a decent amount of light, or especially sunlight, it really does pop. And hopefully at the end, I can get some pictures to really show the true beauty of this colour of the Nissan Ray Blue. We've got my Oral-B, stages number 2, Mickey Mouse toothbrush here. Perfect tool for removing any residue, sanding residue, polish and dust, etc. And we'll do that all around the body. And then we've got our Apex 0.35 needle at about 24 psi with some water. And what we'll do is we're jet washing all the panels and all the recesses to make sure any polish residue is removed. It's a nice easy trick to do. Just gets rid of all that ingrained polish, because it can be quite difficult to get rid of. Just keep topping it with water. Whatever you do, please ensure you're putting water in your airbrush. Don't put lacquer thinner in there. Yes, label your bottles appropriately. So yes, be very careful. I've not done it. I've come very, very close to doing it. But when you keep things in the same type of bottles, it's easy to pick up the wrong one. So make sure you label them. A label maker is a good investment as a modeler. So yeah, we just go around, jet wash all those recesses, all the little panels. It's a bit of a messy job, but it's only water at the end of the day. Once we dry the body off, we can then start masking off our window rubbers. So pretty straightforward. Use the 1mm to go around the outline first, getting up close to where you can see the rubber seal. And just follow the demarcation all the way around. Visual reference, just keep looking at it. If you're not happy, take the tape back off. The Tamiya thin tape is absolutely superb stuff. Tamiya or Aizu, either one we sell, you can't go wrong with. Both brilliant tapes. And again, time spent here, do the best job you can. This is a very, very prominent area. You will see this a mile off if you screw this up. So take your time. Don't rush it. Don't use a Sharpie. Don't brush paint it. That's only in my opinion. If you're happy doing that, carry on. But you'll get a much better finish by masking it and airbrushing it. Trust me, been there, done it, tried it. And the airbrushing is a lot neater. It just takes a bit more, well, a lot more time to do. So once we've got the main area masked up with the 1mm, we can come with the 3mm Tamiya tape. And we'll take this right to the edge. Now the thicker tape's not as easy to conform. So you're probably going to need to cut this and add it in sections. So the Tamiya decal scissors here, proving useful as ever. Pop that in place. Make sure to burnish down. And just trim off any excess. And you can use the excess to get little areas like this, where you've just kind of missed it with the two main tapes. But yeah, make sure any tape is fully home, fully burnished down. Using tweezers like the Tamiya HG tweezers here is a handy tool as well to get everything precisely in place. Detack all the tape on your hand and just make sure you're getting all those areas covered. It is a very, very boring job. Trust me, I've done enough of these cars and enough masking in my lifetime to know how boring it is. But the time spent doing it is well worth it. Trust me, it is well worth doing. Don't rush these last stages. It is very, very tempting to think, I'm nearly done. Let's get this finished and rush it. Take your time. If you find yourself rushing it, put the kit down, go and do something else for a bit. Even if you just go make a cup of tea, whatever. Get out of that mindset of rushing it in the last stages, because it will do nothing but ruin your model. So the engine bay, now it was quite tricky looking at pictures online how to mask this. So I've got some 3mm tape and I'm just going to mask the actual side of the inner leading edge of the bonnet. So we get the very edge of the inner part will be black once we spray it, but we'll leave a body panel on the edge of the wing. Now, looking online, some of the engine bays on the R32s are black, some are body colour. Mine's body colour. So I've chose to do it this way. It's not technically correct because some of it is still body panel colour, but I decided to do it like this. And at the end of the day, as I always say, it's my model, so I'm doing it this way. We're also going to mask off the rear light. Are they reversing lights? I think they're reversing lights on this, aren't they? Because, well, they're not a clear part, so we're going to mask it up and spray them in a gunmetal colour. Now, with the rest of the windows all masked off, we've got some of Asda's finest cling film here, or saran wrap, sandwich wrap, whatever you want to call it. We've rolled out a decent length. We've folded it in half. We've got some Tamiya 10mm tape, like so. Just apply it on the very edge. Then we got our Alpha rotary cutter, another fantastic tool. And we're just going to cut a line in it. And get a workable length. And as you can see, there we go, we're all masked off. What we're going to do is use the cling film to mask off the rest of the body as well. So this saves tape. It's a lot less risk of pulling the bodywork up because you've got a lot less tape on there than you really need. I am a little bit off camera, I do apologise, but you can see what I'm doing. I'm just lining it up to the 6mm Tamiya tape we've added to the rest of our tape work. And we're just folding it around each edge, folding it around, and we'll wrap it underneath. Stick it to itself for now, and at the end, once we've got all the cling film on, we'll add some more tape inside to make sure all the vents are covered and recesses into the bumpers and what have you. But for now, we're just trying to get the majority of the bodywork masked as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And for me, this works perfect. So you just fold it round, attach it to itself. It sticks to itself quite well. And there we go, one part. We just keep repeating this until the whole body is masked off. And there we go, one final piece on the roof. Saves a lot of tape, a lot of messing about. I have seen people use kitchen paper, and I've used it before. The problem is kitchen paper is porous. If you spray close enough to it, the paint will travel through it. So I stopped using it a while ago. So we've got some Mr. Surfacer 1500 black, thinned with Mr. Hobby leveling thinner. And we're going to put this through our 0.35 needle nozzle apex at about 18 psi. I'm just going to spray several light coats, building it up. Now, as I said before, I like the Mr. Surfacer as a black colour, and for window rubbers, it is perfect. It's not quite a semi-gloss. It's not quite a matte. It's sort of in between matte and semi-gloss, and I really rate it as a black, basically. I don't tend to use it as much as a physical primer, but I do like it for the colour that it actually is. It's very easy to spray. It absolutely stinks, and I mean it stinks. Being lacquer, it's pretty potent, but it sprays pretty quickly and simply. Dries very quick as well. And yeah, like I said, I love the colour of it, so it's one of my go-to blacks. So just work your way around systematically, all around the windows, all around the front window, all around that bonnet, and obviously our doors are separate as well, so they need spraying as well. So my bottle's pre-thinned up top right. It's probably 70% thinner, 30% Mr. Surfacer. Now we've got we've got some Tamiya LP19 now, gunmetal. I've gone through and pre-thinned all these now and put them into bottles so they are ready to use, because I plan to move over solely to lacquers for my metal work now. I've been finding enamels let me down a little bit because they stay tacky for way too long. So I'm moving over to lacquers. So all the Tamiya LPs have been pre-thinned and in the bottle ready for use. And just a few light coats on the back, and that is our lights done. Now, what took probably a couple of hours to mask, maybe an hour and a half to mask, takes literally about 40 seconds to unmask. So it's a bit disheartening, this one. But it's time well spent. Trust me, I can't stress just how important it is to take time doing this step. One important thing to remember with cling film is if you apply it over fresh paint, i.e. acrylic, water-based acrylic, alcohol-based acrylic, even lacquers, or decals, it can have a detrimental effect to the paint, leaving funny mottled effect in the paint. And I have seen this stuff lift decals off before, unprotected decals, so be very wary using it like that. Over 2K, pretty bulletproof, not too bad at all. Now, I mentioned floors before in the paintwork. You can see them on the roof. They're there as plain as day. They are just dust spots. They are under that clear coat. I'm not going to attempt to hide them because I can't on video. The downside to my videos is you guys get to see everything. I can't hide stuff. And there are several very small dust spots in the roof. There's nothing I can do about it now. I'm not prepared to push it that far. Now, this beautiful big bore 3D printed resin exhaust, my good friend Dan Scattergood printed for me. I've been putting off doing this, thinking, how on earth am I going to attach this? I'm going to have to make my own pipe, blah, blah, blah. And I sat there, I attached the exhaust underneath, And I weighed it up looking at it thinking, do you know what? Let's just do it the easy way. So I grabbed the end of the exhaust. You can see now there's a little imprint. I heated it with a lighter and I bent it. And lo and behold, it's near enough in the perfect place. Now, I didn't have it on camera because I didn't think it was going to work. But it actually did work perfect. So that's how we did it. Just heated it up, bent the exhaust into shape. Job done. Dead easy, dead simple. Now, a quick wipe into the light lenses on the front. These are the indicators, the turn signals. And the kit comes with a whole sheet of chrome stickers for all our light lenses. Apart from the back, which is a bit strange. But anyway, so they're pre-cut. Fit pretty well. And they're all numbered. So just a case of going through the instructions, popping them all in place. Making sure they're all fully home and burnished down and what have you. And yeah, another nice little touch of the kit. Works really well. Just line it up at the back. It's quite tricky because the static pulls the sticker in. But once you've got it in, you can push it in, get a cotton bud, give it a good rub down, and then we'll go around and continue and do the rest of them. So there's about, I'd say there's about 10 stickers in total, all different shapes. But for parts like this, it saves masking and spraying. They're just a little bit fiddly to get in place. So, like I say, you get all the front, you get the front indicator and headlights, but there's none for the rear lights. So we're going to use some bare metal foil on those later. Bit of a shame. Don't know why they did that, but hey, we'll fix that ourselves. And again, so indicators on, test fitted in place. Supposed to click in place, but they don't. Don't know why, but they don't. The headlight one is in about 4 or 5 different pieces to go across all the different levels, but nice and simple to do. Now I've got a Sharpie now for our light lenses, and I'm using a Sharpie because my Edding pen keeps running dry. I don't know why. I've got a refill for it, but it's having none of it, so I think I need a new one. So I picked the Sharpie out of the drawer. We're going around the light lens, add in the blackwork round, and what this will do, it adds the impression of a rubber seal. It does add a bit of depth to the model, so it's well worth doing. It's a quick, easy tip, well known across the car modelling tinterwebs. The Sharpie doing the job just fine, but I do prefer my Edding pen. These literally push fit in, like so. And there we go, headlights, repeat that for the other side, and we'll sort our indicators out later on. So have a quick test fit. Like I say, it's supposed to click in place, but for some reason, mine just didn't look right. It looked like they were missing a part almost, but we'll get those in later with some UV glue. So no real dramas at all there. So I unfortunately lost the footage of me putting the screen in. It's simply a case of sticking a black sticker on the front, sticking 2 black stickers on the side to imitate the blackwork around the window, and then pushing it onto the 4 locator points on the roof and pushing on 4 the push fit fittings, which I'll show in a little bit on something else. It didn't quite attach to the front. It was leaving a bit of a gap, so I thought I'll add a bit of UV glue and we'll go in. So if you look at the screen, in the middle you see 4 black circular circlips or clips, wherever they are. They literally push fit over the top and hold it in. Really good system. I did have footage of me doing it and putting on the black stickers for the windows, but I lost it somehow. No idea why, but there's literally a sticker at the bottom of the front windscreen and 2 on the sides. That's it. I did have a mask set. I decided against using it, and in hindsight, I should have used it because the stickers are crap. Being bluntly honest, they are terrible. So yeah, in hindsight, if you're doing this kit, don't use the stickers, buy a mask set. So we're just cleaning up all the light lenses here. We're going to put a little bit of bare metal foil on the rear lights on the inside. We do have a bit of a 3M sticky pad to remove off the roof inside as well, and we'll brush paint that black in a little bit as well. But for now, just concentrating on getting everything fitted and in to make sure it all fits in place. I'm eager to test fit the lights for now, but we will get rid of that sticky pad at the end, don't worry. We've also got our interior mirror in there as well. So push the burnish the bare metal foil down, cut the edge, push it, fits in there perfect, holds itself in, needs no glue at all. There we go. Repeat for all the others. Side mirrors, chrome work, spot on in the kit, no problem at all. Quick clean up. Again, push fits in place. using our Tamiya side cutters to clean them up. Do love these side cutters, nice and precise. Like I say, just push fit them in place, like so. Give them a wipe to lose all the fingerprints off them, and then these literally screw in place on the doors. So we line it up, grab the appropriate screw. Most of the screws are 2x5mm, with a few 2x8s. So just line it up, get it in place, and screw it together. Nice and simple. And then we've got our hinge assembly. So there's a little hinge on the front. Obviously behind that is a spring that springs the door open, which, to be honest, they're a bit gimmicky, and I think you can do without the springs. It caused an issue on one of the doors till I removed it. So on this door, this one went all together perfectly. So these are just screwed in place, like so. Then we screw the latch onto the door card in place, and then screw the door on. Simple and easy. So that just slots through this side. This is what keeps the door shut. Get it lined up. A little bit fiddly, but actually works pretty well. Grab a screw. Screw it in place. Screws absolutely fit perfectly on the model, no problems at all. And then we can screw the door card on. No need to over tighten it, just get it in so it doesn't move. And there we go. So we pop this door on, 2 screws at the front. So line them up with your tweezers. Get it all nice and straight and lined up. Grab your screwdriver and screw them in place. A little bit fiddly to do, but certainly no difficulty. A lot easier than a Fujimi one I did a while back. And this door fitted absolutely perfect. And I thought, oh, good. That's nice. Nice to see, because I was kind of worried, as always, about the body panels fitting. They were very loosely test fitted, but never with the hinges. And it was nice to see that, yeah, they open and shut well. Nice positive click on the door. The other door, not so much. And I attributed it to that spring. So I cut the spring off and the door shut perfect. So it just shows you the little bit of inconsistencies here and there. So if you're building this, my recommendation would be leave those front springs off. The ones that are on the front leading edge of the door, not the latch at the back. Leave them off, because I found they were hindering the closing of the door. Like I say, they're a bit tricky to screw in place. The kit supplied screwdriver is a little bit long as well. It was fouling on the edge of the body, so I grabbed my Tamiya one, which is a little bit shorter and got a lot more grip to it. And there we go. And then we pop it round. Give it a little click. It is quite a click, but it does click well. There we go. Click. Held in place perfect, and it opens back up fine as well. It is going to mark in the door a little bit, but nowhere where it can be visibly seen from the outside. And yeah, not too bad. Oh, we've also got our spoiler on as well. Again, just slots through the back and clips in place. Now, underneath the engine, underneath the bonnet, I want to add a bit of a heat shield. And again, my buddy Alan, who gets a mention twice today, Alan. And not for a bad thing either. Bought some self-adhesive black felt, the stuff we used on the car mat inside. So I'm going to use a bit of paper to make a template for underneath. And we're going to cut it out and add this for the soundproofing underneath the bonnet. Or hood, if you're not from the UK. So just a case of using the pencil, find the edge of the underneath of the bonnet, follow it down, and there we go. Perfect. So we'll cut that out, and then we'll apply that to our felt. Cut that out, and then we've got a nice bit of soundproofing under the bonnet. So once we cut it out, we'll put it on top of the felt, and we'll draw around this bit then. like so. And again, use our alpha cutter, a steel rule, we'll cut it out, offer it up. It may need a little bit of trimming here and there, but just do it by, once you cut it out, do it by eye. Look, does that need a little bit more off? A little bit more off? Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. And then stick it in place. Job done. Self-adhesive, nice and easy to apply. And it looks pretty good. It's not too thick. It's probably just about right for 12 scale. The Alpha rotary cutter is absolutely brilliant tool. Cuts through stuff really easily. Very precise with the steel ruler. You have to add a little bit more force than that though, Paul. Obviously, depending on the thickness of wherever you're cutting, requires more pressure. But there we go. So we cut that out, then we cut it, all the edges, line up the front edge. It will stretch, so if it's a little bit short in one area, you can pull it a little bit. So it's a case of popping it down, getting it roughly where it needs to go. You can pick it back up, and I found by picking it up, stretching it, pulling it, you can get it all nicely lined up like so. And a quick test fit to make sure nothing under the engine bay fouls it. And there we go. Brilliant, it fits. Happy days. Looks alright as well. And then we've got our bonnet hinges as well. So these are handed. There's 2 locating holes each side, and then the locating point over on the inner side of it as well. And this is exactly how the inner glass and all the other parts that are push fitted in place fit in place. So you get the protruding pins of plastic on the bonnet, the 2 black clips that go over the top, and then there's a little tool that's included on the sprue, which is basically a hole in the middle. You line that up, push it over the top, push down, and it puts the clip in place like so, with enough force to hold things in place. Pretty good, to be honest. Not too bad. It's a nice simple way of attaching parts. The bonnet hinges are metal as well, which is a nice touch. And there's a nice locating point for that to slot in place as well, via part of the door mechanism. So a little bit of UV glue now on the side. Now, a word of warning using this, and a mistake I made, is I glued this in place, hit it with the pen, and I must not quite have cured one area enough, because then I proceeded to wipe over the body, dragged a bit of the UV glue across the body, and smeared it. Now, the UV glue will come off. It'll come off with either mineral spirits, or if that doesn't budge it, you're going to have to use IPA. The problem is IPA will ruin a non-2K body part, or if it's 2K, it will dull it. So I had to polish just a little section back up again. Nothing bad, but yes. Anyway, we've got some UMP black primer through the 0.35 apex at 24 psi. The exhaust all been cleaned up now as well, de-seamed and what have you. And we're going to put several, well, 2 or 3 light coats on this to get it all nicely primed up, as you can see. And then we do the same on our resin exhaust. A few more parts left to spray here. So we've got the exhaust, the silencer, we've got our road wheel nuts as well, the centre caps for the wheels, and our window wipers to do as well. So all primed up in UMP black primer and then painted in the appropriate colours. Ultimate black primer also works great on resin. 3D printed part Dan did for me, absolutely fantastic. I know a few people are commenting on my spraying technique, but I've been spraying for a long time. I have my own technique on parts like this. Priming, it doesn't really matter as such, and the UMP primer does like to go down pretty wet. So that's now drying, and then we can come back to the body and work on our badges. So it comes with self-adhesive metal badges in the kit, and they're pretty nice as well, not too bad at all. So it's a case of using references to line them all up, tweezers to carefully apply them where you want them, and just give them a light burnish down here with your finger. I found pushing them home with my finger best. Use the tweezers to get everything straight, push down with the finger, and there's a little bit of film to remove off the edge as well. So very careful with a knife. Just grab the edge, pick it off. There we go. Make sure you're still straight. I found as well they do move around for a little bit, but after 10 or so minutes, the adhesive kind of dries a bit as well. So there's 2 on the inner wings, 1 on the bonnet and 2 on the boot lid as well. Just go around, follow the instructions, get everything where it should be, and the jobs are good. Nissan one on the back as well. If you're not sure where they go, look at online references of the real car. Just make sure they're straight before you commit to push them fully home, and get that bit of backing paper off the back as well. And then the all-important GTR logo as well. Very, very nice badges supplied with the kit. Really nice touch. You can see our rear lights looking good. Our sprayed reverse lights, I guess they are, done as well. So, moving over to more lacquer paints. We've got Mr. Hobby's Super Metallic Super Stainless 2. Recommended by, my buddy Simon actually recommended this one. Everyone's getting a shout out today, aren't they? I'd like to thank Jeebus, God, Jebediah, everyone out there. I'd really like to thank everybody. So yeah, a little bit of the rapid thinner as well. Give it a good mix up. This is the very first time I've ever used this paint, other than a quick test on spoons I did for a review a long time ago. And what a beautiful colour it is. It really is a nice colour. Glad I chose this one for it. So thank you for the recommendation, Si. Much appreciated, buddy. Beautiful colour. Perfect colour for this. Just what I was looking for. So a few light coats all the way around. You should get all those angles underneath the lot. Once you've done a coat, put it down, let it dry for 5-10 minutes, and come back and apply a second coat. Now the idea of thinning it with the rapid thinner is that that allows the paint to dry much quicker, leaving the metallic particles at the surface rather than dropping through. That's the theory that you get from using a leveling thinner or a retarder. So on this finish, it looks spectacular. So I'll be using that again in future, that's for sure. And again on our silencer as well. For our 0.2 apex at about 18 psi here. And then onto our second coats. Really nice paint. Highly recommend this one. Works really well. As you can see, we've got our window wipers there as well. And our road wheel nuts, which we're doing in gunmetal again as well. A few light coats. Again, through the apex, 0.2, 18 psi. And there we are. So, with our exhaust test fitted in place, we're going to apply a panel wash to all the underneath. So just go around, tam your panel wash to everything, let it dry, wipe it off. Now, as you can see on the resin wheels, where it's been making contact with the bench and being moved around, we've lost a little bit of paint. Now, you can't see this once the model's down, so it's not detrimental, but we will touch it up before we finish the model. But there's no point doing it now because it's going to keep getting moved around on the bench. So applying a wash all over the exhaust, everywhere we can get a wash in there, on the diff case at the back, all over that engine, just to give it a bit of depth. Let that dry for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it takes to dry. Come back with a cotton bud, a little bit of odourless mineral spirit or white spirit, and you can remove it as such. Now a quick test fit of this. A little bit of a wobble, and it fits in perfect, exactly the way I had it lined up. So that'll do me nicely. So put a little bit of glue on the inside of the exhaust, and we'll get that in place later on. Road wheel nuts now. Now 20 of these to do. Very boring, very monotonous. So dab of CA glue in each one. We've cut them off the fret, the resin fret, I suppose it is. Is it a fret? Sprue, mold plug with a razor saw. A little dab of CA glue where they need to be. Pop them in place. Make sure they're straight and lined up, and job done. We then click our interior back in place. Now the exhaust screwed in, and slot our body over, which is getting a bit tighter fit now. We've got the doors in and the bonnet hinge mechanism in there as well. So it takes a little bit of more of mucking around to get it on. A little bit of stretching here and there. Very, very a dubious part to do. But once it's on, it clicks home. Like so. Pretty terrifying doing that, I'm not going to lie. So make sure our door's still shut, everything still works. And then we can flip it over and screw it in place. Make sure everything's lined up nicely. And check our bonnet fits as well. The exhaust, so I've had a little bit of the Loctite super glue inside, and we've literally just pushed it home. And to mount it, I came up with all different ways of doing it, and I thought, you know what, keep it simple, stupid. Let's just put a little dab of CA glue on the rear bumper underneath, like so. The body will never come off again, and if it does, it wouldn't be too difficult to remove anyway. Just hold it for a few seconds. Yeah, have a little pick at stuff. And there we go. Exhaust done. Window wipers, these were sprayed in Tamiya LP5. We've got our Sharpie again. We're going to put a Sharpie mark over where the rubber would be. You can't really see it, but it adds a bit of detail should you want to put it on there. So we can do these. So just a light run over on an angle so that you can see it. And then pop them in place. Now I did find I need to open the hole up a little bit. I think I used a 1mm drill bit. It was a little bit tight, so that one's done and in place. So we just grab our drill bit, clean it off. Only just needs opening up, so it just needs a little bit of finesse. Pop it in place. And we'll pop a little bit of white glue in there to hold it in place as well. A bit of Deluxe Materials glue and glaze has gone nice and tacky, being left out. So a little dab in there. Pop our wiper in. Get them both in position and leave them well alone till they're dry. Same on the rear, a bit trickier this one, as it just wants to keep falling off. But I got it in place. And there we go. Quick tidy up. So like I said, rear spoiler pushed in place like all the other parts. Clips on with some of those black clips as well. Got some double-sided tape on our number plate, which is had its sticker applied. Make sure it's centered. And then we'll stick that down in place. Didn't bother with the front one because I think it ruins the lines of the car a little bit, but the back one's gone in place because it looks quite good. And there we go. Looking good. And the final step, a bit of shine from the Ultimate Modern Products. Anti-static brush, give it a good shake, nice clean cloth. What we're going to do, we're going to apply it in a circular motion all over the body. Don't need to put loads on, spray it onto the cloth, don't spray it onto the model. As you can see, circular motions all over, go around the entire body, we'll let it all dry to a haze, come back and buff it off. Now you can use the wax as well if you want. You've got to be careful with the wax, you don't get it in all the recesses and what have you. So I like to use the shine personally. The wax does work very, very well though. In fact, it's better than this. But it's just leaving the residue all of that nice hard work you've already done. This works a lot easier. So just spray a little bit on the cloth. Put it on. Doesn't matter how thick it goes on, but obviously don't hose it on. You don't need to. And just buff it until you can't see it hydrophobically balling up on the model, and then it will dry to a nice sheen. Now the size of this kit, it's turned into a bit of a nightmare to handle. I've got gloves on to keep fingerprints off any freshly clean parts. Like I say, we're just going to go around the entire thing and apply the shine. It gives a beautiful shine to the bodywork. Seats are looking good now through the car. Yeah, seatbelts look fantastic. Really happy how this is coming along. And this is our final step. So once that's dried to a haze, we can go around and buff it all off. As you can see, we've got a beautiful shine on there now. It really is looking good. So again, take your time here. Don't be knocking things off you already put on, scratching things, breaking things. It's easily done. Been there and done it myself. But yeah, just take your time. Really take your time here. There's no need to rush. It's the final stage. You're there. You've done it. You've completed it. So just take your time. And it's very easy to knock off wing mirrors, spoilers, and damaged parts. So just really, really take your time doing these bits. So a quick final buff off. And there we go. Get it all nice and spotlessly clean, shiny. Absolutely beautiful. Take your time though. Whatever you do, please take your time. It's easy to wreck them. And there we are, final buff. We can get our anti-static brush to get rid of any final dust. And then we can take this and get some pictures of it. So we had to take this outside, and I had to use my phone. My camera wouldn't cope outside in the sun, and it's too big for my photo booth. So I need to build a bigger photo booth. So that's something that needs to be done in the future. But here she is, all finished, and that blue is absolutely stunning. Really is pretty. I'm really happy how this has turned out. It's a beautiful kit, beautiful car, and yeah, wow, what a colour that is. So it was primed in Tamiya Light Surface Primer, straight out the can, grey. It was base painted in Paint Nuts Nissan Ray Iridine Blue, or Iridescent Blue, I think it is. That was thinned with Tamiya lacquer thinner and airbrushed. Beautiful colour. 2K clear coated with Gravity Spain 2K clear coat. The wheels were painted in Tamiya TS14 and cleared in Mr. Hobby UV Super Clear. We used the Studio Rosso aftermarket wheels, brake set, and seats inside as well, which are a huge addition to the kit. They look absolutely stunning. And we painted the calipers in a very striking luminous green to match the luminous green decal on the wheels as well. Absolutely beautiful. Interior was flocked. We made some carpets for it as well. It was all detail painted. We added some Takata belts as well in green, which look absolutely stunning. It was all polished up using micro mesh and the ultimate polish system. Factory ride height, it is a bit high, I will admit, but that's roughly about where they sit from all the pictures I've seen. And I wasn't going to risk damaging all those delicate resin parts trying to lower this. I'm happy with it, and that's how it's going to be. Loads of scratch building done on the engine bay, including that strut brace, which I'm very, very proud of. Lots of detail added here, and it does need it in my opinion, because otherwise it's quite a barren engine bay. So lots added there. You can go through the videos and find those if you want to see what I actually did. And our interior, absolutely beautiful Studio Rosso seats. Nice flocking on the floor. Our car mats look stunning as well. And those Takata belts look absolutely, well, belting. Look really good. Really happy with them. And yeah, very happy with this kit. Long project, been a good long slog. But I think the end result I am very, very happy with. So there we go. That's it. She's done. It's finished. It's been a long old slog, that one. A lot of work in it. It's been a great kit to build, and I'm very happy with every single thing on it. As I said, it's not perfect. There's a few flaws in that paintwork, but to get to those, I think I would have really run the risk of burning through, because they were under the clear coat, not on top. They were physically under there, so I think it would have taken a complete re-clear to fix those. And to be honest, I can accept, as I always say, I'll accept a few flaws. My work's not perfect. But overall, one enjoyable build. Great build. Nice kit. A little bit underwhelmed when I first saw it was all screwed together. But adding all the scratch build detail, you need to add scratch build detail really to make the most of the kit. And it really does benefit from all that Studio Rosso aftermarket. The brakes, the seats, the wheels. Yeah, it really does benefit from it. So if you've got the kit, you can get them. I highly recommend you get those parts for it, because it makes it a much more enjoyable build. So 8 weeks start to finish. Not too shabby, I don't think, considering I also built the GT500 and halfway through building the Challenger as well. Not too bad at all. Enjoying the 12 scales. I bought another one, sat on the floor over there, and we'll show that, well, 2 to show in my bench update, which I plan to do probably on Tuesday morning. So make sure you tune in then, because we will have a chat about my next build. It'll have to be Tuesday or tomorrow, depends how we get on today. Got a busy day today. We've got this, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to get this done and uploaded before I go live at 10. Then I'm going to stay live till about 12, and I've got MotoGP on this afternoon. So busy, hectic day, isn't it, over a weekend? But we're going to have a chat about my next build. I kind of know what I think it's going to be. It's behind there. I'm not going to show you yet. You can tune in to my bench update and we'll have a chat about it and have a look through the box. So depending on when I start it, whether it's going to be tomorrow or Tuesday, will be when we show it in a video. So we'll see. Sounds really confusing. It makes sense to me. And like I said, I bought a couple of very nice 12 scale kits for future builds. And the Skyline now lives in there, taking up almost an entire shelf by itself. Where all these big scale kits are going to go, I have absolutely no idea. But hey, who cares? We'll figure that out as we go. So there we are, that's it. Very enjoyable build. Thanks to everyone that's followed through the build and really helped with the positive feedback and comments as we've progressed. I'm well happy with this. Well happy with some of the scratch building and yeah, the colour choice. Great shout out by my buddy Alan for that iridescent. Was it iridescent? Iridine? Can't remember what it was now. Nissan Ray Blue. A beautiful, beautiful colour. And for help with printing decals as well. Cheers, Alan. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. And a big shout out to Lee as well, Lee Eagles, who very kindly sold me the Studio Rosso. Well, we did a trade actually. Trading me the Studio Rosso resin. Thank you, mate. It made all the difference to this build. Like I say, thanks to everyone that's commented on the build along the way. You really spurred me along with the build. And I didn't lose my mojo with this whatsoever. Really enjoyed every step of this along the way. Even the 6 hours of body polishing, which my arm was falling off with. It's been a very enjoyable build. So yeah, looking forward to the next one. If it's that one, I've got a colour picked out already. But we're gonna have a think. We're gonna enjoy today. Just have a morning off, hanging out with you lot, and yeah, bit of MotoGP, bit of family time. Bank holiday Monday tomorrow. Yeah, so there we go. I've waffled on. I'm waffling. So there we are. Thanks for watching today, everyone. Thanks for all the support for the build. Make sure you're subscribed, give a thumbs up, and hit the bell notification to get all notified of all the latest videos. And check out International Scale Model Facebook page and forum, umpretail.com. You can get a lot of the products I show in my videos. There's a big link in the description down below of all the products I use in there. Check out my Paul ISM Facebook and Instagram page as well. And of course, Live the Bench page and the Off Air Hangout group as well. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. I'll catch you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.